Alex attempts to convince Owen that the traitor is amongst them, and the recruits are assigned to get an asset out of Germany, but the target has a death wish. Meanwhile, in the future, the terrorists try to extract information from the hostages. Season 2, Episode 11 of Quantico starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Here we go. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of the Quantico After Show. I'm your host, Drexel Heard. In the studio, you can follow AFTERBUZZ TV at AFTERBUZZ TV using the hashtag ABTV Quantico for this show. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drexel Heard.
Here we go, guys. I'm Timothy Michael. You can follow me on all social media platforms at I am Timothy Mike.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
If you caught the Super Bowl yesterday, I'm sure millions and millions of people, I think it was the fourth highest rated football or Super Bowl in history, Super Bowl history.
Wow.
This weekend, Lady
insane.
Gaga did the halftime show. We started the show off with a little Lady Gaga because Shonda Rhimes started tonight's show off with a little Lady Gaga, her song Io.
I didn't know Shonda Rhimes from Quantico.
Oh wait, it's not Shonda Rhimes. Y'all, you know why I thought it was, because I was like, only Shonda Rhimes is so good at picking music in her
Right?
shows that I
Man.
was like, oh, it's perfect. Quantico, maybe she just chose the music.
Shout
oh my
out to
gosh.
our girl
Okay.
Shonda.
Shout out to
Shout out to girl
Shonda.
Shonda on Quantico. Oh my goodness. Okay. Zrtorch, the name of tonight's episode. Zrtorch is the cryptonym for communications between CIA officers and defectors or potential defectors. What do you guys think of tonight's episode?
I liked it. It was intense. We had some more questions answered, which was nice.
Yes.
Craziness. And very intense at some points, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I'm really excited that we found out what happened to Lee, because we all know that I was attached to her. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but I mean, that the whole episode, that's all I was really focused on is that's what happened to Lee.
Right?
Yeah, I wrote Lee, question mark.
What? You don't remember
No,
Lee?
I just meant like
Oh.
Lee, question mark,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right into the past like we always do. We're going to talk about. So top of the episode, Alex tries to recruit Owen. Tries to convince Owen really that Lydia is behind this. Did you guys think she was convincing, or like, did you guys think that he was going to like be into that sort of thing?
Well,
Like take her at her word as a CIA operative.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, with all the evidence, I think you want to be in denial because it is your daughter or any family member for that matter. You know, I feel like if we thought, our mom, our cousin, our dad, or anyone was, like, turning against the country, I think you would be in denial for a bit, too. Even if there was a video of them saying, hey, yo, I'm going to get a group of terrorists now. You'd be like, someone made them do it. You'd still be in denial. So I understand where Owen was coming from. As viewers, though, it's like, come on, Owen.
Right, we got to keep this show moving.
Gotta keep it moving.
I actually wrote down denial. I'm glad you said that because Owen said to Alex, she tried to apologize. She said, "You can't be sorry, be right." Because even though I think on some level, or I felt on some level, Owen knew in the back of his head that his daughter was doing something. Now, the crazy thing about this show, and you guys can chime in on this, is I don't know who's on what side.
Nobody does.
You know what I mean? Like, if Lydia is like on, and we'll talk about Diana a little bit, on one level you're like, oh, maybe Lydia's side is doing the right thing, and maybe the other side is not doing the right thing. But we're made to believe that Lydia's side is the bad side. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, just really quick before moving on to that, just tracking it back right before in that whole conversation when he said "Don't be sorry, be right" to Alex, Owen's mad that he didn't see the signs that Alex was working him. So I can only imagine that he is probably feeling some kind of way about Lydia, because if he didn't see Alex working him, then he probably is self-guessing everything at this point, which would include Lydia, and maybe Lydia was working him this entire time. So it's like, I could see why Owen feels this kind of way toward Lydia, like he wants to protect her. She's his daughter, but at the same time, he's like Renee said, he's a CIA operative.
But he also
Yeah.
had that bit of jealousy that she was in the field and that he wasn't, even though, and we we see it later on this episode why he was feeling guilty about a lot of other stuff too. So I mean, I think there was like, and we've said it on past episodes, his jealousy towards Lydia, or why he felt some sort of way about not being there. The truth in the chat room says, "Lord have mercy, this show is too much." Yes, I know. We are with you. We say that at the end. We sigh at the end of every episode because we're like,
we made it.
"Oh my gosh, we're done with." Okay, okay, so. Alex, the first big kind of detective Alex, she takes a photo of the photo map that Lydia, all the places that Lydia has been to, because now she wants to gather a lot of these clues. We also saw Harry talking to Pip, which they're I guess they're reintroducing this backstory on Elliot. We didn't really get into that. So where do you guys think that storyline is going to go? Like, do you think it's going to be is it a red herring storyline, or do we feel like, we're on episode 11 now? Like, how much more can we get into with the Elliot backstory?
I feel like that's going to go into season 3, if anything.
Because you think what's his name is going to be a series regular, going to be bumped up?
Who?
Possibly.
Harry Doyle.
We got playing here. Yeah, Harry.
Oh, yeah, Harry for sure. Because I think that's what they're trying to do, is leave it at a cliffhanger, because as they always do, and I think we're going to get like this whole terrorist situation, this in the building, all that wrapped up in this season. But I think they're trying to set up other little storylines for us to leave us like wanting more for season 3. I think that's what they're doing with this story.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the I guess Pip's father-in-law, who was the one who killed Elliot, or was responsible for killing Elliot, I think he's going to be a bigger villain than we've ever seen before. So I think you're right. I think that the writers would probably save him for season 3 and amping us up for that.
Nima gives Leon an immunity deal.
You got him right. Yeah.
I did. I wrote it down. I said Nima, underline, underline, underline. Don't forget, circle, dot, dot. Deals for crimes committed before and after being what comes next in missions. I thought Alex and Shelby had a really nice moment where Alex said to Shelby, "I never stopped believing in you." That was a really sweet moment, because I think that out of all the relationships that Alex has been in, she had the toughest in season 1 being her and Shelby, and now they've really kind of rekindled that, even through everything they've gone through,
which is a lot.
Is a lot. They've kind of gone through that. We got a little bit more backstory on Helen Sharp.
Yeah.
And that relationship. What do you guys think of the writers bringing that storyline back in?
I mean, in terms of
haunting Owen.
Exactly. In terms of bringing Owen back and giving him more of a character arc, I loved it. I thought that them holding off until this episode was a little weird. Like, why now?
This is like all of a sudden. All at once.
But
do you not think that it has a lot to do with the fact that Owen is now going through what you said, like, he doesn't know what to think now, and so all of the emotions that he's having to deal with Lydia, because he didn't bring Helen up until Alex brought up Lydia. So now, and you said that Alex, or he's feeling like he didn't really catch the signs from Alex. Now he's got Lydia, and now all of these emotions are coming back up. So now he's feeling guilty, and like that's what he said to what we see later on with Daniel, his Helen's son, where he says, all these people around me are going through all this stuff, or have gone through all this stuff, and this is probably why he brought up Helen.
Yeah, I think he just feels guilty in general. This is one instance he felt very, very guilty.
For 15 years.
For 15 years, and then the whole, now probably raising Lydia, he feels somewhat guilty for that, and now he's confused, yes. And this whole storyline really did, with him getting very emotional and seeing this guilt, it really does humanize Owen, because I think a lot of the time he kind of like, brushes things off, ignores, whatever. Like, he seems like a good guy, but like this, like, we got to see real emotion.
Yeah, but I feel like that emotion was a little too much. Like, the whole him wanting to die thing, I thought it was a little extreme.
Well, we'll get to the mission in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, since you brought it up, let's talk about the main mission. There was no mini mission in this episode, so we'll go right to the main mission, which was all about exfiltration. Getting the asset out when things go wrong, the opposite of infiltration. Trying to get in, you're going to exfiltrate, trying to get out. So the task was to exfiltrate Marcus Weber, who was a German banker,
IT guy.
Yeah.
who was accused of
Hacking into his own company's
phone records for the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come to find out that Owen was Marcus Weber. Who knew?
I didn't see that coming at all.
I didn't see that coming either.
I thought that Owen Webb. I mean, sorry, now I'm getting them confused. I thought that Owen Weber. I thought Marcus Weber was the guy in the present that Ryan was fighting with.
Oh,
Was part of the AIC.
Just because they're black,
I know, and then I felt really a little tad bit racist because not all black people look alike, and I know that. But
I mean, I'm Marcus Weber.
But no, I thought that blindsided me, so I guess it was a good twist.
Yeah, no, I like that as well, and I love that Alex was saying like, oh, he does enjoy his espresso or whatever. That whole moment where she knows him, because she knows him quite well at this point.
Yeah, no, I love how Ryan picked up on that. They were like, I don't know, where would we find, Marcus Weber? And they were like, well, we already know what he likes. We've already, did research on his, backstory. So we just follow that lead, and they let us at the coffee shop.
Let's back up for just 1 second, because I want to talk about how the filming. There was the scene where they're still at the farm and they're trying to pitch their ideas to Owen, and you see them. It's not real time, but it's kind of like they're in the situation.
Yeah.
And they're with Marcus, and obviously we see a Marcus that we know of as Marcus Weber. What do you guys think the show is trying to do? Is it trying to be, because like we've talked about their foray into the music that they did. Remember when they kind of did that scene where they were in the phone booth and they had that music and it became old school, and now they brought back this kind of 50s like detective music back into it, and that whole scene was a little bit like
them like going on the mission but not really leaving the room.
Yeah, what did you guys think of that whole scene?
I liked it. I don't think it
But
felt...
did it fit with the now of what we know as Quantico?
I think it's new, but I don't think it was introduced in a way that felt weird. I think we noticed it because it was new, and we've seen all the episodes, and we know like their normal style. However, it didn't feel so out of place. It felt different, and I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. I mean, that's the first thing that I noticed about it, was that it was new, but I didn't not like it. So, yeah, no, I liked it, and I thought it was pretty cool. I hope that they keep on doing it in different and unique ways. I hope they don't keep bashing that over the head, because then it would get old.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm wondering. I mean, obviously we've moved into a new time slot on Monday nights, so I'm wondering if this is an attempt to bring in a younger viewer who might be kind of into that cool filming kind of thing.
I mean,
It's possible, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, who's up at 10 o'clock? I mean, we are.
Yeah.
But, 10 o'clock on Pacific time.
At 10 o'clock.
But 10 o'clock at night. Okay, so back in Germany, they have to go to Germany. I thought it was really cool that they left the farm. They really left the farm for the mission. I mean, they're out of the country. I thought it was really weird that, especially in 2017, knowing how these countries are now, knowing how security is in a lot of countries, that Owen was able to get through security at the German airport with with his name flagged. I thought that was weird to me.
TV magic.
I mean, really. I mean,
it's one of those things.
Heightened security with terrorism all over the world. He just kind of boop, and then they were like nobody said anything.
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't even like a mission for him to get in, but then once they were there, that's when they dropped the bomb on us.
Right.
I think it was just for the show.
Yeah,
obviously,
just for dramatic
because
effect.
it's not. Yeah, that's not realistic.
Right.
Also, on the other side, there was a new main task, and that was for members of our trio of the AIC. One thing I thought was really weird is that I thought it was a little too coincidental that the mission that Lydia sent Leon, Diana, and Ryan on was in Germany at the same time that the team was in Germany.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it
picked
was
up on
too
that too,
coincidental. Like, was it planned because they knew they were going to Germany, or was it?
I would assume because there's obviously more AIC operatives, whatever you want to call them, the AIC group. There's more of them than we know. She's been recruiting them. So perhaps because there was a mission in Germany and they were going to be there. Because, I mean, she's going all over the world.
Right.
So I would assume it's not because it's not like she planned for them to go to Germany. I would say it's because she had a mission in Germany, found out. She's probably going through all of her dad's stuff to figure out where they're going next.
What do you think, Lydia? Because this is the second person that Lydia has now sent this trio to kill. Well, what do you think? Who do you think those people are?
I literally have no idea.
Yeah.
They have to have some connection to Lydia.
Like, they have to,
They have
right?
to know something.
But as of right now, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. I keep trying to, like, think, like, what could she be doing? But it's, like, so many layers to this cake. Cake sounds good right now. But so many layers to this cake where it's, like, this terrorist group is good, but they're killing this terrorist group that they think is bad, but could not be bad because really they're getting forced to do things, but then they have their own missions to kill people that they think are bad, but are they really? Like, it just keeps going. So I don't know.
And it just makes me believe that it's Lydia even more because it's just like, as they say in like the FBI, there's no such thing as a coincidence. So of course, like the only
And they
person
talked about that 3 times tonight.
Right.
This is the second time. Lydia's got one more before it's the third time, and it was brought up twice in tonight's episode.
I was gonna say twice. Yeah.
There's not a coincidence, blah blah blah. You 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, who else would know that Owen was going to send all of his recruits to Germany to do this mission, except for Lydia? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
So I feel like she used that as a cover story to get her recruits there to do her mission.
To go after Elsa Schmidt
yeah.
in Germany.
But then still have that cover story of, no, we were just in Germany for Owen.
Right.
You know what I
and
mean?
then somebody in the
Yeah.
chat room said they think Lydia's framing Owen with the AIC operation. Did you think that Owen was going to come out of Germany? Because we know that Owen's in jail.
I, for a second, was like, is this how he goes?
I thought this is
jail?
how he goes to jail.
I was like, okay, well, that makes sense because, I mean, he put himself there. Because we don't know right now why, like, what happened for him to get into...
Yeah, I really need them to get that, like...
Same.
Like,
Yeah.
going. I really need to know when that's going to happen.
Because now I'm just, like, waiting for him to get arrested.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Like,
I thought it for a split second, but then I remember they said a federal prison, and they would have called it a German prison.
No, they
if
could
he
have
was in.
extradited him back to the United States.
Would they extradite him though
They
if he
would.
was arrested?
Germany
by
would.
Why would Germans give him up? He's a.
Germany would give. I mean, if the United States asked him for him, they would figure it out. He's a CIA operative. The United States would figure out a way to get him back. So the new AIC mission right now is happening simultaneously as the actual mission. Obviously, we're stuck on Harry, Sebastian, our core 5 or 6. Harry and Sebastian are off drinking. What were they doing? Were they a part of this mission?
Yeah, they had-
got the
Exactly,
passport.
yeah.
and
And then
that
they
turned out to
never
be nothing.
did
Not
anything
nothing,
with
but
it.
I'm like, they never did anything with it.
No, I'm sure that's how they got Owen back
Probably
into the
out, but
country.
it just
yeah.
again another loose end, another added something that the story that it just never added to this. Like it only added we just didn't see it happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like the end of missions where you're like, oh, that's it.
But then they also had those guys that were watching them, and Harry was like, "Oh, just act like we belong here," and
Right.
then nothing ever happened with that either. What did they do?
And
Just
that's
leave?
what we go back to. We say this probably every episode, just about how these main missions are going, is that they never show us the ending. Show us how they exfiltrated him out of this country. We saw that in this heat of this moment with Daniel Sharp, that Alex got Owen out of that room somehow,
Yeah.
or figured it out, but not how did he escape the German police that were coming out? Like, at what point did the mission actually happen? That's what I
It's a
want to
good
know.
question.
No, it's
we
a
didn't
good
see
que-
it
yeah.
happen.
And
Right.
I really
We
wish the
know
show
it
would do
happened.
that better.
I agree.
Give us the end of the mission. Show us how they did it, because that's what the show is about.
That's
the
what
show
it
is
used to
about.
show
It
us
was-
all the
yeah,
time.
all the time how to do that. So writers at Quantico Writers, I tweet at you all the time. So that's something that we want to know. Did you guys think that Owen putting himself in harm's way was like? How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was a little overdramatic. I mean, like I said earlier, I don't see. It was just like I could understand if it was like a buildup of emotion, but it was literally this one episode where all of this emotion came out of Owen, and I was like, okay, well, I understand that you feel guilty, but feeling guilty and then going to wanting to die in Germany or being arrested or whatever, it's just a little extreme.
I totally agree because, you're their teacher. And maybe if after the mission he was like, I knew you guys could do it, like that's why we did this. But that wasn't it.
Right.
He honestly went in, it was a suicide mission,
Right.
really. And that, to me, that didn't add up. Why do it this way?
And that's why Alex said to him, you would rather put yourself in harm's way, but you're also putting the rest of your students in harm's way as well for a situation like this. So like that mission, yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, there was nothing much. There wasn't anything else to that. I thought the Daniel Sharp situation was very sad. You got this kid, but again, Alex has to come in and save the day.
Well, that's another interesting thing that I saw in this episode was when they were doing the flashbacks in Helen Sharp at the farm. They showed Alex was looking at a newspaper clipping and it said Helen Sharp was slain, and then 14-year-old, I thought it said a 14-year-old daughter was left behind.
No, it said 1-year-old.
No, it had a 14-year-old daughter, and then Owen was saying that it was 15 years that he's been regretting it, so that would place the person being 29 years old. And I circled it because I was like, 29 years old, who could that be that's 29 years old and is holding a grudge toward Owen? But then Daniel comes up, so they answer that question, but then I could have sworn it's a daughter. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe somebody can look that up, let us know.
Yeah, the newspaper clipping that Alex was looking at, I thought it's a daughter. I could have been wrong, but if it does say daughter, I was like, maybe it's Carly. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wrote Carly with a box around it because we'll talk about Carly in just a second because we talked about it last week.
Oh yeah, I got some thoughts.
We got thoughts. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Diana, because this is the second or third time where Diana, we saw what happened last episode where she let the daughter go in a moment of what Leon calls weakness. But ever since, and that's her side on the CIA side, like the farm side, her softer side on the farm side. But then we get this Diana that's now shifted into what she believes is the actual CIA. I wrote down that I thought Diana might have been working with Lydia this whole time.
Well, I mean, based on what we found out in the prison when Leon was trying to cover somebody, clearly he's trying to cover for Leon.
We'll get to
which we'll get to that. But I mean, I feel like
we're talking about Diana in the past, why she wanted to shoot that girl, and then why she called Lydia back and was like, he's not a part of us, and like she's in it.
Like her soft
she seems to be the only one in it.
Like two in it, but then it doesn't completely add up because is her soft side only for children? I don't know. But she does seem like the most invested and sure of all of the missions. Like, she is sure about their motive. She has trust in this AIC.
Which is weird to me. Like, how could you trust something that kind of, like, puts you in this situation that you still don't know what you're doing? I
know. And then have the balls to, like, have Lydia up on speed dial and be like, he's too weak.
But see, that's the thing. I didn't think when I circled it too because I was like, that's weird. The woman on the phone with Diana didn't sound like Lydia. It sounded like Miranda.
Lydia. No, it was definitely Lydia.
It sounded like Miranda to me, you guys. And then if you were watching it with subtitles, it just said woman. Voice. So I don't know. It sounded like Miranda to me. So now I'm even more confused.
No, I definitely thought that was. I definitely sounded like Lydia to me.
I definitely thought it sounded like Lydia, but I will.
Because Lydia's got that weird speech pattern to me, and I'm like, oh, that's Lydia right there. That's her right there. She's not gonna fool me.
Nima, Raina, Lydia.
But it's definitely Lydia, I can tell you that. So that's the kind of thing. Those are the things that happened in the past. Let's talk about the.
Wait a second though. That one moment with Ryan and Alex. Who goes in for a kiss, like leans in for a kiss.
Oh, see, I missed that whole thing.
To then not have... Okay, here's the thing. She was like leaning into like what looked like to kiss him on the cheek, right? Like that's what you do. You're leaning in. But instead of being like, I'm going to kiss you on the cheek, she's like, you're going to kiss me on the cheek. You don't lean in for someone else to kiss you on the cheek. That made me mad, but it was a sweet moment.
That's the only thing that Renee got out of this whole episode was that one moment between Ryan and Alex. I mean, people are dying all over the place, and she leaned in for a kiss. I don't know. So moving into the present. We're now in a situation where Will Olsen is back. He took the place of Eric Boyer, who had all this information. we come to find out that what I like to call a kill list of Willis was confirming names of people who have been a part of non-sanctioned missions. Now, these non-sanctioned missions, to me, the way I felt, and you guys can tell me what you thought, were the missions that Lydia and the AIC put on.
Yes. Well, that's what they think. They think these are missions done by the AIC. They did say that. Yeah.
But I mean, the people that they pulled in were like recent, like within the past, 2 years or whatever.
You mean at the missions that were on the map that she went to?
No. When she pulled in Leon, or Will pulled in Leon, Harry. Diana was next, I'm sure.
That other guy in the beginning.
The other guy at the beginning. So I'm sure all of them were AIC members. But
it doesn't necessarily mean in the last 2 years, right?
Right, no, it didn't.
It could be any time. I think they're just trying to find out who is in the AIC because they
and
pose a threat.
Lee
Davis. I thought it was great to have Will Olsen back. Harry was pulled in. Like I said, Harry Doyle was pulled in. I wrote down that Will, who has no emotions, recognizes that the computer can't detect emotion when he brings in Harry. The way that Will is programmed as a person, he recognized that the computer was faulty. I'm wondering where this other guy came in, where you thought it was, what's his name? Marcus. Our present Marcus.
The other guy, the guy that Ryan was starting to was fighting. I just
That's
thought
that guy.
Yeah, that's who I thought that was Marcus.
Yeah. I'm wondering where he came from.
We don't know who he is.
Yeah, no. Well, he's dead now. So are you going to do a backstory on him?
I think they might.
They can't. They probably won't because they can't even finish a mission. But I'm wondering at what point, like where this guy came from. Like he had so much power. He had way too much power. Right. Way too much power for somebody that we've never seen before.
That's why I'm thinking they'll have to introduce him sometime in the past in the next few episodes. Or maybe towards the... No, there have to be in the next few episodes. I don't think they'd leave it till
But only in flashbacks.
Oh, yeah. Only in flashbacks for sure. But I feel like they would need to introduce him to us. Otherwise, how will we understand how this terrorist group was even made? Like, won't we get all the answers, I would think, rather than just being
I thought we were going to get all the answers tonight.
As we always do. And then the terrorist group is formed. Like, that's not... We are learning how the AIC was formed. We still don't know how even the idea was Lydia thought of the idea. We don't know how that started.
Well, Harry brought up a really good, like, how and why the AIC was formed. It was formed to force America into wars without any kind of oversight. We set something up, we try to fix it, then we break it again, which is basically what a lot of what we do right now. But that's basically how the AIC was kind of.
And what Will is doing is he's trying to break that cycle by getting people before it even gets started.
Right.
But why?
So that there's no terrorist attacks.
No, I know that. I'm saying, why did Lydia do this to begin with?
Well, and
that's what I want to know.
It's got to be somebody who's calling the shots. And I think somebody in the chat room said something. I mean, we talked about President Haas. Like, at what point do we feel President Haas is still innocent? We've known President Haas for almost a season, which has spanned over a few years now.
Yeah,
and I brought up 2 years because it said 81 operational anomalies in 2 years. That's why I meant, within the 2 years. So I think somebody was calling the shots from the top. Which is why, if you remember from the last episode, Haas told Shelby that she was the one that created the AIC, or this secret group, what I like to call B613. And that was probably coming from the top. All these little mini missions.
President Haas didn't say that she
helped create.
She helped create it with the budget.
So somebody was calling these shots, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So it didn't obviously come from Lydia. Lydia was obviously just the messenger, the recruiter to help kind of facilitate this stuff. But the shots, all of these missions were caused by somebody who probably benefited from America being engaged in these wars, which is, like I said, like what we're doing a lot right now. Also in the present, what else happened? Oh, Leon goes in. Leon is now tested, and he starts to give answers that were actually Dianna's answers.
Yeah.
How did Ryan not pick up that it was those are Dianna's answers?
I don't think he wanted to say anything. It seemed like in that moment
Ryan
knew. That's why he didn't say anything. No words came out of his mouth. He just kind of stood there.
Right.
Right, because mystery guy had said, who I thought was Marcus Weber, which is not Marcus Weber, was saying, who is Leon protecting? And Ryan just stood there. He knew he was protecting, but he didn't want to say who Leon was protecting.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little interesting. But I go back to Diana. I don't know how innocent she in particular is.
Well, technically, if she has those answers, then that means she would have been flagged for being part of the terrorist group. So she would have been killed because she is a terrorist.
But as far as we know, we don't. That's the thing. It's like this whole divide of like the past and the present. We don't know what happens in between. And it seems like Leon trusts her, and this is after he's going to get kicked out of the AIC. I mean, as far as we think right now, because she told Lydia that he was weak, and I think he's smart, and I think he'll put 2 and 2 together when he gets booted.
So you guys keep thinking it's Lydia. I still think it's Miranda on the phone, but okay.
We're going to watch it. If you guys think, the question of the day is, was it Lydia on the phone? Or was it Miranda on the phone?
And was it Nima or was it Raina?
I think that it was Lydia posing as a Nima. Just kidding. I think it was me. I'm standing by Lydia on the phone because of the way that she's speaking, and because we've heard it, and because we've talked about Lydia's speaking pattern.
He loves talking about Lydia and her.
Except I don't like Lydia talking. I like talking about Lydia, but I don't like Lydia talking.
You say she talks slow. Do your impression of Lydia.
I can't even do it because I just.
Here, make the phone call. So I'm like, he's weak.
We'll get rid of him. I can't even do it. We'll get rid of him soon. I don't even know what to do. But that's how it's Lydia. So I just wanted to point out this one last thing, which was at the end, or 2 things. So Owen in the past gives Alex a dossier on Lydia after they come back from Germany, which includes emails to the past, which includes her emails to past and present recruits that were encrypted. So that's a clue. I mean, I'll again, a situation where I'd be interested to see how Owen goes to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously he got in too deep with something and somebody had to take him out. You know what I mean? Like, he probably stumbled upon something. Maybe that's what it is. He stumbled upon something he wasn't supposed to. And then they put him in jail because they had to take him out.
No, I don't think so. I still think that he's going to do something to protect Lydia, whatever it may be. I think that's what's going to happen.
But why would he give Alex all that stuff if he was trying to protect Lydia, even though
Because he's probably going to feel guilty afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not Catholic. Jeez.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he went from feeling guilty 1 minute to trying to die the next. So who knows? Owen's a little unstable. I do want to bring up the fact that they finally brought back Raina, which I'm really excited about. Raina as the character. Alex and
Raina is the one that looks like
the white
hijab.
Yes. Alex and Ryan rescued her, and then they all were leaving the crisis thing, and they said that the terrorists are blended into this group of people. Which I thought was actually really cool.
Really cool, really scary.
So where all these people come from?
Yeah, I was like, we're finally getting out of the crisis building, and then they're like, no, they're still terrorists here. Then I loved Alex's face in the end. She's like, who are you? Who are you? Who could you be?
Right.
Like,
and Alex says, we're getting everybody out of the building, good or bad, which takes us right to tonight's predictions.
Yay! It's my favorite.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
predictions.
Okay, so next episode 12, is next week. It's called Fallen Oracle, the day before Valentine's Day. What do you guys think is going to happen next week? We saw the preview.
I think Carly's acting awful suspicious.
Yeah. Carly, where was she the whole time? Remember I said last episode, I don't trust Carly.
Yeah, we both
She
said
walked
that.
in nonchalant, like, oh, hey guys, I'm just here.
And then Sebastian was like, where are you? She's like, in a room by myself.
In a room by myself.
Why do you get special treatment in a room by yourself?
Is a part of this whole thing.
Which do you think? I think she's a big person in it, like one of the leaders. But I will say that moment when she was like, "Oh, what did they ask you? What were the questions? I'm just wondering." Like,
she did try to play that card, didn't she?
did.
That
She did.
innocent card. What did you say?
I'm so scared.
Right. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
And then behind the scenes, she's just
No,
like,
you guys called it last week that Carly was going to be a big part of this, and I think that you're right now. I think that she's because that whole innocent card does not play.
no, she's
And also Sebastian's like,
love you, Carly.
Right.
Not really. Love you,
Right.
Harry.
So okay, so what do you guys think is gonna happen next week?
Let's see. I still think that the woman on the phone is Miranda. I think that this whole episode, because I've been saying the entire time that it's Lydia behind the whole thing, but now I'm starting to think that Miranda is the one behind all of this. And if I saw correctly, I think that there's going to be a bigger feud between Sebastian and Harry that's going to become physical, because I thought I saw Sebastian get shot in the preview of next episode.
We did see Sebastian get shot in the preview.
I want to see how that happens.
Oops.
Probably because he's trying to protect Carly, who's the bad guy.
That's what I mean. That's why
Yeah.
I think that Harry and Sebastian are going to have like this feud. Even though I'm over those guys. I'm so over that storyline.
Yeah, I'm glad that Harry's moving out of the bedroom. In the past.
Yeah, same. I agree with that. And I think it was like a nice, like, yeah, Sebastian, like, don't treat people like that. But I will say, I think because of next week's previews, it kept showing them inside. Like, the second they start to, like, go out, something's gonna make them go right
But
back
here's the
in.
thing: if you guys saw the preview from last episode, right, or for the next episode, we saw them at the end of this episode walking out the front door. Where in the preview for next week are they walking through these big tunnels?
What?
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
he's-
I
I mean,
do you remember
yeah.
at the end of this episode?
they're all
where
in
walking out,
tunnels.
we saw the daylight.
And then
Of them walking out,
tunnels
and then next episode
darkness.
we see like they can't get out.
But that's why
They were
Renee,
just at
that's
the
why
front
Renee,
door.
that's why
They just
Renee is
out.
saying
So
that
I'm
something's
saying
gonna bring them back
something's
in.
gonna happen.
And they
Like,
gotta
they're
go back?
It's gonna like go right back to like the second that we left off at. They're also like boom, and then
That doesn't make any sense. So we want to know what all of your predictions are using the hashtag ABTVQuantico. Tweet us at AfterBuzzTV. We are going to take a couple weeks off. We will be back on the 20th with 2 shows, episodes 12 and 13. We got a little vacation plan
Yeah, we're so
coming. We got a little vacation. So we want to know all of your predictions.
need a break, a
It
mental break.
is Happy Valentine's Day. Also, Happy National Wear Red Day as well. I'm wearing a little pin. So you can follow me on Twitter at Drexel Heard.
You guys can follow me at I am Timothy Mike.
you guys can follow me at Renee Ariel on Instagram and on Twitter.
Give us a million reasons to come back in a couple weeks. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Which parts I should